I approach and quietly record him from about 25 feet away. I don't speak until the girl speaks to me.
Yeah, you're right. But that's what I thought it was.
I think he's helping this girl.
What are you doing?
What's that?
What are you doing?
Just recording him.
No, sir. Bye.
A group of around 5 law enforcement personnel can be seen at the beginning of the video ushering Mr. Freeman out of a public building. The objective of including this footage was to show Officer No's engagement in the encounter. The precise incident may not be described explicitly. Nonetheless, the purpose of including this footage was to highlight Officer No's involvement. The action then moves to the parking lot of a Walmart where Mr. Freeman observes the same police officer participating in a different exchange, and he makes the decision to begin recording. Upon noticing Mr. Freeman's recording, a woman in the vicinity approached him, inquiring about his motives. The police officer promptly informed Mr. Freeman that he was permitted to film the officer himself, but not the woman. According to a ruling by the United States Court of the Appeals, 10th Circuit, the officer stated that the First Amendment protects the right to photograph and record matters of public interest, specifically encompassing the recording of law enforcement officers carrying out their official duties in a public space. However, there exists a two-party consent law when it comes to recording private individuals. Under Washington recording law, it is considered a crime to intercept or record private telephone conversations, in-person discussions, or electronic communications without the consent of all parties involved. Initially taken aback, the woman subsequently took out her own phone and began recording as well, resolving any potential issues. Some observers might argue Mr. Freeman was recording in close proximity, which could have hindered the officer's investigation. However, since he maintained a distance of approximately 25 feet from the incident, it did not qualify as obstruction.
You're being scary.
You recorded?
Yeah, I am.
You're still recording. This is citizen. It's recording you.
You are making me feel scared.
Get out of here.
So I'm over here watching this Washington City police officer, and he's trying to say that there's a gun right there. It's a radio. You see it? I'm with news media. I document police activity. I'm not here to record you either.
You're being harassing.
I'm not here to bother you or record you.
You're being harassing.
My job is to record him.
Mr. Freeman's assessment of the situation was accurate, and his actions were in line with proper judgment. Any misstep on his part could have resulted in the officer detaining him or potentially making a hasty decision to use force. Notably, an intriguing aspect is the officer's right hand, which obscures the body camera he is wearing as he approaches Mr. Freeman.
Guys, I'm gonna stay here with my camera down and my hands up because he just called for backup and tried to say that I have a gun on me. Hey, can you guys turn your cameras on, please, and put them on me? Yeah, please, record me, please. This guy just tried to say that I have a gun on me and called for backup, saying that I'm trying to shoot him because I'm recording him.
After the police officer falsely claimed he had a gun in his possession, a reinforcement call was made by him. According to Mr. Freeman's account, he deemed it the safest approach to position his camera on the ground while he stood with his hands raised behind the police car. After a while, a few shoppers in the vicinity became aware of the unfolding incident, and Mr. Freeman managed to convince one of them to start recording the events.
You okay?
Yeah, I'm fine. What's going on?
Okay, are we okay?
Yeah, what's going on?
Well, he just tried to, don't touch me. He tried to say I have a gun on me because I'm recording
Wait,
him.
I don't know what he has.
You don't need to know what I have.
You approached me.
Hold on here.
It's legal and lawful. I don't have a gun.
Not to approach him while he's on a traffic stop.
Look, I was within reasonable distance recording him.
What reasonable distance may be okay with you may not be okay
Right,
with him.
right,
He's
right.
in control of the scene.
And
okay?
he knows I don't have a gun, and he tried to
I
say
don't
I
know.
did so he could try to shoot me.
Okay. Regardless.
What's your name?
Hold on.
You asked me already a couple hours ago.
Hold on. I'm just talk to me for a second. Okay.
Mr. Freeman's possible obstruction or hindrance of the police officer may be considered in light of his apparent decision to approach from behind the officer. According to Article 1503 of the Code of Conduct, it is illegal to corruptly influence, obstruct, or hinder the proper administration of justice by using threats of force or other frightening forms of communication. But here, Mr. Freeman kept his distance from the action, and there was no proof that he tried to stymie the police.
What's going on? How are we going to get to that point if you're not going to talk?
I don't need to understand anything. I just want to record.
Actually, you do need to understand a couple of things. When you insert yourself into an investigation, you become become part of the problem and not part of the solution.
I didn't insert myself. I silently recorded.
But by you coming up and getting within his space, that becomes a problem.
I wasn't in his
You
space.
can't deny, you can't say one way or the other whether that's good or bad. He has the right to make that call.
What's your name?
Agent Dressler.
That's Agent Dressler. What's his name? Don't come near me. Back him away from me now.
No, he's right near his car.
Back him away. Tell him to
No.
stop coming closer.
No, sir.
Just because you're recording.
He tried to say I have a gun so he could
He
shoot
says
me.
you might have had a weapon. I'm pretty sure your recorder will say that. That he,
Right.
as you approach, we don't know what you
He
have.
tried to say that was a weapon.
No, I didn't see that.
Sir,
The waistband.
Sir, I don't know what you have on
It doesn't matter. This is the
Okay,
United
but if
States of
you-
America. We're allowed to have
You're gonna
weapons.
approach a guy on a car stop.
Throughout the entire interaction, a crucial aspect to highlight is the officer's assertion that it was unlawful to record or approach him while he carried out his duties. In contrast, Mr. Freeman prudently maintained a safe distance, as emphasized by the second officer, who later revealed that he should have been even farther away from the ongoing investigation. The officer didn't have a good handle on how to handle the case. It's possible that Mr. Freeman moved too quickly when he made accusations and said the officer was reaching for his gun when he wasn't. But it makes sense that a reasonable person would feel scared when a police officer runs at them while screaming. Even so, Mr. Freeman's actions showed he was wise in general. Moving to the next one. A convenience store located at 2400 Airways in Memphis reported that Drew Thomas was causing disruption and knocking over items within the store. Thomas's medical bills revealed that he had been diagnosed with either bipolar disorder or schizophrenia. Due to his previous disruptive behaviors, he had been banned from the store. 4 officers from the Memphis Police Department, Officer William Skelton, Officer Jonathan Haltman, Officer Adam Biddick, and Officer Jonathan Sharman, responded to the incident. Upon their arrival, Skelton reprimanded Thomas. It was later discovered that this was Officer Skelton's second encounter with Thomas on the same day. Earlier, he had taken Thomas to the Memphis Mental Health Institute, but Thomas was quickly released. The other officers also appeared to be familiar with Thomas. Officer Biddick entered the store to assess the alleged damages, while the remaining 3 officers took Thomas into custody. In this incident, Officer Skelton accused Thomas of vandalizing a store without any evidence.
Fucking ass over here. Hands on the car. Hands on the car, dickhead.
Oh shit, I ain't doing nothing. Just dealt with you, man. I ain't doing nothing. I got bound over. Keep your hands on the hood. I got a lot on me. Benefit. Walk away. Look at my butt. I didn't do nothing, man. I was trying to go to work.
Have you ever even had a real job?
Downtown.
Okay. Yeah, you about to have some work downtown. Hands behind your back, you're under arrest. This way.
Where we going?
Jail.
For what?
Vandalism.
What I vandalized?
The inside of the store.
What I do?
You vandalized the inside of the store. Sit.
Oh, I did. I bought some coffee.
Good. Sit.
Am I heavy?
No, sit.
Why not?
Because I said so.
The Tennessee Code clarifies that vandalism involves knowingly damaging merchandise and offered from retail sale, punishable as theft. Officer Skelton's conduct towards Thomas was highly disrespectful and violated departmental policies. Although the incident occurred in 2019, the 2020 version of the department's policy emphasizes that the conduct of its members, both on and off duty, should not reflect negatively on others, the department, or the profession. It covers unlawful acts as well as acts that breach ethical codes and brings discredit upon the members of the department. After warning Thomas not to kick the vehicle's door, he did so again, leading Officer Skelton to repeatedly pepper spray him. These events highlight potential misconduct and the need for adherence to proper conduct standards within law enforcement.
Suck my balls, dickhead. I told him I was going to spray him. 774, suspect's kicking my car door. I am deploying my pepper foam. I'm trying. don't think so. Anybody got a rib hobble? Mine seems to be missing.
Officer Skelton's use of pepper spray in this case was deemed excessive, violating Section DR 301 of his departmental policy. This policy clearly states that excessive or unnecessary force is defined as utilizing more force than is required by the circumstances of a specific event or using force that is not justified. It emphasizes that control can be established through advice, warnings, persuasion, or, if necessary, reasonable physical force when other alternatives have been exhausted or are ineffective.
Calm down. By doing that, it'll calm down now.
I hope so. We'll get some overtime out of this,
I've never
gentlemen.
seen someone spray someone before.
It's the first time I've used the foam.
I bet that's still like a motherfucker.
I hope so. I don't know if he'll give it to me. You got enough for a felony?
Yeah.
Good. Did you hear all that on the radio?
Fantastic.
Thank you.
I've never been more proud of you.
Oh, well, thank you. Never?
After the incident, the officers engaged in joking and laughter regarding Thomas's behaviors, which were unprofessional. Thomas, affected by the pepper spray, requested assistance in opening the door for fresh air and relief. However, Officer Skelton refused, even though he acknowledged he was supposed to provide such assistance. Officer Skelton resigned from the Memphis Police Department on January 31, 2020, following an inquiry into his actions during the incident. It appeared as though he had resigned in order to avoid possible disciplinary action. Skelton's administrative hearing, which had been planned for February 12, 2020, was moved up because of his resignation. Skelton enthusiastically accepted a job in the private sector after leaving the Memphis Police Department and expressed gratitude to the TV network that had reached out to him for comment. It was announced in May of 2021 that Skelton had been indicted on a felony charge of official oppression for his recurrent usage of pepper spray. Skelton entered a not guilty plea. Both Officer Sharman and Haltman had their administrative charges dropped. Nonetheless, both Officer Biddick and Lieutenant McGowan were suspended for 3 days. And now, the final one. After seeing a civilian recording in a public place, the female cop became irritated. Officer Thomas, as she introduced herself, stated that someone had complained that the man's video was blocking traffic. Thankfully, the person was aware of their rights and did not submit to the officer's illegal orders. A discussion between the officer and her supervisor after they left the site led them to agree that the person had not committed any crime. Officer Thomas went back to fix her earlier statements after realizing she had made a mistake, finding herself for a potentially awkward moment.
What are you doing?
Really?
Yes, really. That's why I'm here.
Well, they're lying.
I'm not here playing around, okay?
I'm not here playing around either.
Okay. Well, what's the reason?
What's your name and badge number?
Thomas.
Thomas?
THOMAS 421-421. That's my badge number.
All right, you're dismissed, Thomas.
I'm not dismissed.
Yeah, you are.
Okay, no, you're being detained right now.
For
What
what?
are you doing
What
here?
crime did I commit?
You're creating a traffic hazard. They're calling it in.
How?
And you're not wanted here. That's how. What are you doing here?
None of your business.
It is.
No, it's
If
not.
I'm getting calls for this, it is my business.
Where's your supervisor?
Right here.
Are you the supervisor?
As we could see, no major confrontation occurred through this interaction, but another video shows a different interaction that escalates to much more dangerous showdown. Mr. Gavin and his family were traveling on January 21, 2017 when they were threatened by police. 2 officers from the Clute Police Department were performing a traffic stop when they arrived. When Mr. Gavin still wasn't leaving, the police officers confronted him again, this time threatening to take him and his family into custody if they didn't listen.
Okay, so you can record all you want, do whatever you want, but here's the thing that we're having an issue with, okay? Don't obstruct the trucks that are coming in. I don't know if you work them in the middle of the street, I don't know, I'm not here to take sides. However, you do need to stay away from their path of travel, okay? Onto the property, do what you gotta do, record however you want, all right? Just do not impede the truck drivers that are coming in here, and don't impede the traffic that's coming in, okay?
Don't forget to tie your shoes.
I don't have to tie them. Thank you very much.
Okay.
Any other questions?
You are dismissed.
Actually, I'm not dismissed. I have a job to do, and I'm leaving.
Yep,
Have a
that's
good
what I
day.
thought. Bye.
I hope you're getting paid, so have a
Bye, Felicia.
Mr. Gavin is wrong in assuming that the Supreme Court agrees with his position that police should be recorded. No precedent-setting Supreme Court case had yet been decided that explicitly protected the freedom to record government personnel at work when the video was shot. The First Amendment guarantees film as a form of expression. However, as has been recognized in a number of Supreme Court rulings, Mr. Gavin then left the site in his car and waited for his supervisor to arrive. Mr. Gavin decided to move his family to Mexico in November of that year. His principal reason for leaving was tiredness brought on by what he claimed was harassment by U.S. government authorities.